Welcome to Cloud. Hope you're doing great. We're back with part 2 of the wild and weird Reddit story titled, "My girlfriend and my ex look exactly the same and it's kinda weird." So without further ado, let's dive into it. Hello again. When we last spoke here, I was at a wedding where I had just discovered that my ex Eric and my girlfriend Lisa look exactly alike. Also that I'm apparently the one who got away from my ex, and that everything in her life would be perfect if she'd stayed with me, because I'm magical and can completely fix people's lives. That was yesterday. When I woke up this morning, I found Lisa on her laptop looking through her Instagram account, which is weird because I thought she didn't have any social media, which she still doesn't. She was looking through Eric's account. A lot of the pictures were obviously in LA, pausing every few moments to look at some picture or another extra closely and say, "Weird." I came up behind her and wrapped my arms around her and said, "Before I kiss you, can I confirm your name?" "It's Eric, of course," she responded with a fake Long Island accent, which was way heavier than Eric's real one. I told her that if that was the case, then I'd just have to tickle her instead, and things almost got R-rated until she reminded me that we were supposed to be at a friend brunch in half an hour, adding, "And while I know that 29 minutes and 45 seconds is enough time for you to get ready, I don't want to shower again." Have I mentioned how much I love her? Still, I was happy that she was still in good spirits, even if I didn't like that she was cyberstalking my ex. All things considered, though, I decided not to say anything. Anyway, in keeping with my earlier promise to myself, we went down to brunch arm in arm. I was wearing what East Coasters called business casual, and Lisa was wearing a sky blue sundress. The brunch was pretty small, so we were finally able to come up to Raj and Padma to congratulate them. Lisa was a little exasperated when I literally refused to let go of her and managed to negotiate me down to just not leaving her side. It was kind of fun to catch up with some folks that I hadn't yet had an opportunity to see, but we got a lot of side-eye and everyone studiously avoided discussing last night except for one of the bride's friends asking me, "Whatever happened between you and Eric anyway?" I answered, "Just the two-body problem," and she nodded before giving Lisa a not very subtle up and down. This was the closest anyone came to really talking to her. Surprisingly, Eric wasn't present. I didn't want to ask, but someone mentioned in an overly casual way that she'd had a little work emergency and would be running late while she handled it. We all sat down. There were several speeches, too many of which used the term irreplaceable, while staring directly at me, and we started eating. Eric showed up about 20 minutes into the food, in a sky blue sundress. Now, they weren't exactly the same dress like last night, and Eric was wearing low heels to Lisa's flats, but aside from that, the entire room froze. And by sheer coincidence, the empty seat had ended up next to Lisa. Apparently no one had thought through the implications of this. What should have happened was for someone to quietly get up and sit by Lisa, opening a seat somewhere else. What actually happened was that there was about 15 seconds of total silence before Eric walked over and sat next to Lisa. Everyone continued to stare until the best man got up and gave another speech praising the couple. Thank God. It was also around this time that I started feeling kinda shitty. I'm pretty sure that I ruined Raj and Padma's wedding a little bit. For the next few years at least, this'll be the time where David replaced Eric with a creepy clone, instead of the time Raj and Padma had an awesome wedding. After the speech, conversation haltingly resumed. Lisa, for her part, started talking to Eric, mostly since no one else would talk to her. Eric started incredibly stiff, but loosened up surprisingly quickly. I think that she was expecting Lisa to be gloaty or possessive, but she was just friendly, asking about LA, and being a lawyer, and bringing up some sort of Westchester County-Nassau County rivalry that I didn't understand. Shockingly, Lisa even started asking about what I'd been like in grad school. More shockingly, Eric told her. And then they started talking about their experiences with me as a boyfriend. The whole time, I was staring at them along with about half of the other guests. It was eerie. Their mannerisms were even creepily similar. As they spoke, a Westchester wine, completely different from a Long Island wine, I'm assured, started to enter Lisa's voice. When brunch was over, Lisa kissed Eric's cheek goodbye. And no, before any of you go there, nothing like that happened. I'm just trying to get across how friendly Lisa was with Eric by the end of the meal. We had a free afternoon before a post-wedding event around dinner time, so we went back to our room. The wedding is at a resort in the Catskills at the end of the season, so there isn't a crazy amount to do aside from hike around or use the pool. It was when we got back to our room that things got weirder. We fell into bed and started getting undressed, and Lisa put on her too strong Long Island accent and said, "Aren't you glad you ditched that replacement bitch?" I was completely taken aback. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was probably something like, "What are you talking about? I swear you're not a replacement. And remember how different you looked when we first met?" She gave a mean little laugh and responded, still in the accent, "Don't worry. I'm sure that bitch is okay with this." She gave me a very pointed look, and so it went. She kept in character the entire time, talking about how she never stopped loving me, heaping abuse on my little replacement hamster, etc. I kept pretty much silent. It was weird, but, still sex with my girlfriend, and she was clearly getting off on it really hard, so I went with it. After she showered, she dropped character and spoke like she'd been out at the pool for a couple hours and asked if I'd done anything while she was out. I said that no, I just hung out in the room and napped a little, which was apparently the right answer because she gave me a quick kiss. We then went on a little hike, and the evening ceremony and dinner were uneventful. Lisa and Eric wore dresses that were similar in cut, but thankfully one was gray and one was dark green. They had also done their makeup and hair differently, so they didn't look like clones anymore. Looking at them side by side like that, you can see the differences. Lisa's mouth is a little wider, Eric's cheekbones are a little higher, Lisa is a little taller. Their eyes are both hazel but look completely different up close. Still, even if they aren't quite identical, I'm not sure I could tell them apart if they weren't right next to each other. Anyway, they sat next to each other and spent the dinner chatting and laughing with each other. This time, Lisa and Eric tried to include me a little in the conversation, but I continued to spend the entire time frozen in shock and dread. We got back to the room half an hour ago. I told Lisa that I loved her as a unique human being. I reminded her how different she looked when we started dating. I listed out several things about herself that I was 100% certain weren't true about Eric, and I painfully admitted that while I did still have some feelings for Eric, it was more a memory of my first love than it was anything real in the here and now, that she'd broken my heart. At some point in the babbling, Lisa kissed me quiet. She's currently cyberstalking Eric with extreme prejudice, going back through all of law school, including but not focusing on pics with me, but also back to undergrad and pictures of her on her high school hockey team. I'm here, writing this. There's one more full day of this, and then we leave early the next morning. I still have no idea what's going on, but I figure it'll get better once we're gone. If nothing else, med school starts again in 2 weeks, and hopefully she'll be too busy to keep. I don't even know. Thinking? Doing? I want to call someone to ask for advice, but I have no idea who to call. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe for part 3. And until next time, take care.